Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new HJ, welcome to my channel. And I got the best call this morning. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I have a chronic illness called fibromyalgia. Even though fibromyalgia is technically an umbrella term because they can't really pinpoint what's wrong with you. So if you have fibromyalgia, you know the symptoms, which I can never remember off the top of my head because there's too many. But the majority is like widespread pain, aching, burning, throbbing pain, which is all over my body. Like sometimes even my hair hurts and it's actually crazy. Fatigue, chronic fatigue, no matter how much you sleep, you can't recover. Your bones and your joints just hurt. Sleep disorders, which I do have. I have insomnia anyway, but the fact that I'm in pain all the time, I can't get comfy and I can't sleep. Cognitive functions called fibrofog, so my memory is awful, and it's surprising because I can remember lines when I'm going on stage, but anything else, no. My brain just goes, I can never remember like the simplest of words. I'll be like, oh, it's that that thing, and my boyfriend will go, the phone, and I'll be like, the phone. Like, that's an example. I've never forgotten that, but that is like how bad fibrofog can get. And other cognitive difficulties, and then you get obviously headaches, and IBS can be triggered by fibromyalgia. I never had IBS before this. Tingling in the limbs and everything, sensitivity to light and sound and temperature, me. Oh my god, I sweat so much even when it's cold, like because I think my body's trying to obviously regenerate heat anyway because it's cold. But you see in the sun, I have to change like 5 times a day because I sweat so unnaturally. Headaches as well. I've never gotten really bad headaches until I became sick. And if you've seen in my community tab, you'll know that I am trying to get tested for lupus. I'm going tomorrow, because yeah, today's Tuesday, tomorrow's Wednesday. Wednesday's my appointment. I'm going tomorrow to ask them to test me for lupus, just because a lot of people have been pointing out that I've been getting a rash around here recently. Mostly people have been pointing out my nose because it goes that red. And the symptoms to lupus are very similar to fibro. Like I find that a lot of people have said in fibro groups and in lupus groups that they were diagnosed with fibro for ages and it turns out they had lupus. Now I just want to clarify that I know that test could come back negative, as every test always does, and lupus is hard to diagnose unless obviously it's really far advanced. Everyone has like the starter, I can't remember what it's called, like they'll test for something first and nearly everyone has that, so they need to do further tests to prove that you have lupus, and it's very difficult. So I'm under no cloud, like I'm not under any like thing, like I know that could come back negative, but I would like to have it crossed off the list. But going back to this morning, I got a call. To be fair, I didn't answer it because I've been getting a lot of those calls where you've been involved in an accident, you've been involved in an accident. So I let it go to voicemail to see if they leave a voicemail, because I'm sick and tired of having to pick up my phone and go, please get rid of my number, delete this number, block me. I'm not interested. I'm sick of it. So I screen my calls now. So I didn't recognise the number, so I thought I'll leave it, see if it goes to voicemail. And my phone does that cool thing now where obviously if someone leaves a voicemail, it'll come up on the screen and then it'll play it back to me. And it was like, hi, we're from the chronic pain clinic. And I went, what? Because I've been speaking about this all week to people, saying how I've been on a wait list for a year and a half, almost 2 years, when I should have been on it technically for 5. We'll get into that. And all I've been saying all this week, because I've been posting on my Instagram stories about how I'm feeling recently, because last week was a complete write-off for me. I was so sick. It's the sickest I've ever felt in my life. In the whole 5 years of having this chronic illness, last week was the point of no return where I thought, I'm done. Like, I am so done. I was at the point where I was ready to call an ambulance. I know that sounds dramatic, but the pain was so bad that I was just like, I need something, that I know they probably won't be able to do anything. But I was at that breaking point where I cried myself to sleep. I have been on this waiting list for a year and a half, nearly 2. And I was like, phone them back now. So I like phoned back the number. And they were like, hello. And I was like, yeah, missed a call from you. And they're like, oh yeah, hi, we're from the chronic pain clinic team. We're offering you a video appointment for next month. And I'm like, she's like, is that okay? And I'm like, yes, like 1,000 times. Yes, it's okay. Oh my god. I could have like jump up and down if I could jump up and down. Like, I have very limited jumping. it was like I had manifested it, like just by essentially gurning about it to people. But I won't say gurning about it. A lot of people that I've met on Instagram go through, if not the same, something very similar to me, where we're chronically ill and we have this thing that the doctors can't really say what's wrong, and they're like, we keep getting pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and we get it. Like, I'm not saying all doctors are this awful. I'm not saying anything bad about the healthcare service, because obviously they provide the best service, but sometimes it does feel that you just get pushed. So I have a video appointment next month, which is with 3 separate teams, I think. Like, there's 3 different teams going to be on the call with me. I'm not entirely sure what they're going to ask me or what it consists of, which I'm a bit nervous about, because sometimes I do like to prepare. Like, when I go to my doctor's appointment tomorrow, I've written down all the symptoms that I have, and I know what I'm going to say. Like, I like to prepare in my head, so like if I get asked questions, I kind of have a rough idea of what I can say, and so I don't forget things, because fibre fog. But I'm hoping that means if they think I need to see someone face to face, that I will actually get a face to face appointments, which would be absolutely amazing. I also had reached out to a charity before this, funnily enough, to get physiotherapy, because I was going to do the hydrotherapy, but I would need guidance first to do hydrotherapy, because I've never done it before, so I would need to put a routine in place to do it. So I would be meeting with their physiotherapist, but even if that means I can get on the chronic pain clinic one and get into that one, I could do both, which would be great, because that would give me ample chance to get a good routine in to actually help my pain. Because I think a lot of you are probably thinking, why aren't you on medications or any of these groups right now? But it's because I wasn't offered them. 5 years ago when I got diagnosed, I was just told, take ibuprofen and paracetamol. There you go. Which doesn't even touch the pain. I have tried so many times to get them to put me on medication, and they did put me on medication, and it wasn't working. And I went back to the doctors for something else, because I was like, for 3 weeks, getting up, making a coffee, lying on the couch, going to sleep, waking up, feeling ill. For 3 weeks I was like that, making a coffee, and I was like, I'm done for the day. And that's not normal for me. I know what my normal is, and that's not my normal. And I went to the doctors, and this particular doctor wasn't very nice to me, made me very uncomfortable, made me upset, and I actually cried. And she was asking me about the medication I was on. I said, I don't think it's working, and she just went, oh, well, we'll just take you off that then. But that is not the point. That medication, if it's not working, the dosage needs to be upped. And I went to say that, and she was like, no, we'll just take you off it. So I have been literally left to try and figure this out on my own, and I've been trying so many different things, like pushing through, as people say, and I have gotten not better at it. I'm not saying pushing through is the ideal thing, because if you push too far, your body will crack. And that flare that basically lasted me the whole last week, I was like, I managed to get out and about for a bit, but I got home and I was like in so much agony. My boyfriend was looking at me and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not okay. And it wasn't until like I said, last year, year and a half ago, I actually got a doctor who actually sat me down to ask me the right questions. He literally looked through my history on file and went, oh, so how are we helping you with your fibromyalgia? How are we doing with that? And I just said to him, you're not really helping me at all. And he went, oh, it's like, so we've put you forward for like hydrotherapy, chronic pain clinics, that sort of thing. And I went, no. And he went, physio? Nope. Wasn't offered that at all. He sat there gobsmacked, his face. And he said, oh, but you're on this medication, are you not? And I went, yeah, you're one of the doctors here took me off it. And he went, what? And I went, she just went, oh, it doesn't seem to be helping you, just take you off it. And he just sat back in his chair and was like, I am so sorry. And I appreciated that he took the time to look for my notes and everything. And then he said, right, well, I'm going to get you down on a chronic pain clinic list, and then we'll see how it goes from there. And then he said, and we find that with people with chronic pain, relying on medication is not the best thing. So we prefer more like structured, like physical therapy treatment works best. So I was like, so you basically can't give me anything? And he said no. So for anyone that's like, why are you not on a medication? It's like, I've been told I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to go on medication, but the best thing is to not medicate it with medication, because obviously then that medication, as any medication does, when you take it too often, becomes like redundant. I don't know what the word is. See, brain fog. I'm just going to use the word. It becomes redundant to your body and it doesn't work properly. Hello. Clive's come to join. You coming to join? Basically, how you're my therapy dog. He's not really my therapy dog. He acts like one. He just loves us because our life is basically blankies and cuddles. So what was I saying? Yeah, so essentially, with any medication, your body becomes immune. Got there. Becomes immune to it, and it doesn't work. So they find that with chronic pain, because it's like a muscle and joint thing, they find physical exercises and everything more prominent to help that. I am nervous about my appointment tomorrow because those doctors see fibromyalgia and just use it as I don't want to say as an excuse, because it makes me sound like I'm being awful to doctors. I know not all doctors are like this. So, and I have had that one doctor, like I said, that looked through my notes and put me down for this pain clinic, which I'm now getting, hopefully. So I'm very grateful for that doctor, and I know not every single doctor is like this, but it just seems that they see chronic illness, fibromyalgia, on my history on their computer screen and go, yeah, well, it's that, isn't it? When I know well enough it's not, because if you're the same and you have a chronic illness, you know your baseline, you know your normal day to day. Well, I say normal. We live and function 24/7 in pain. Sometimes we have a good pain baseline, and sometimes our pain goes up to about 1,000,000 times worse, where you just think, that's it, I want to chop off limbs. Because I got that way, and I said to my boyfriend, just chop my leg off. And he was like, what's it? I need you to chop my leg off because I can't deal with the pain in my leg. And he just looked at me like I was a psycho. But if you know, you know that it's awful, and we have a baseline of our symptoms, and we know what our symptoms are from day to day, and if one little thing changes, we don't know if it's to do with something else or if it's to do with our chronic illness. Like when my stomach started to hurt, I didn't know it was IBS, so I had to go check that out because I was in pain when I ate certain foods. I know this is TMI, but sometimes I could not get off the toilet. I was running back and forth to the toilet every 30 minutes. I could not get off of it. There are some days where nothing comes out, because that's another thing about IBS. Like, you feel like you need to go, you don't need to go, but you sit on the toilet because you feel like you could go, but nothing's coming out. Yep, very wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey. And I didn't know that it was IBS until I had to go to the doctors, and they examined my stomach and they went, oh, it's IBS. And I was like, what? I was like, how did I suddenly develop IBS? But apparently that's the thing with fibro, even though it's an umbrella term. With fibro, a lot of people have developed IBS, and I'm like, oh, great. I also have benign proximal positional vertigo, where any time if I'm looking at my phone and I just glance up the wrong way, if I do a wrong head movement, I get a little bit dizzy. It's not like proper vertigo, which I have had, which is nasty, where the room is, like, if you're old enough to know this feeling, you know, like when the room's spinning when you're drunk, and that's how you know you've had enough to drink. It's like that, but we're having fun the previous night. You wake up and, like, I literally got in my bed, the world went woof, and I almost swacked my head off my window in my bedroom, and I thought, oh my god, and I was down for the rest of the day. Like, I felt so sick. And that, I hate being sick. It's not a phobia. But when I get a sore stomach, or I'm like, wake up and I'm like, oh my god, no. I hate being sick. I hate being sick. But it's like what I'm going through right now. All the time I say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Because it ruins your life. Not ruins it, I'm not going to say. Because all the things I've done in the last 5 years, even though I've had this illness, has been amazing. There are good moments, I won't lie. That's all you see on social media, but what you don't see is the bad days, because people will see it. There's a fear of judgment that people will see you on your bad days and they'll be like, well, you did this the day before. Well, you managed to do that last week. Were you not just away on a holiday? Or were you not just away in London for a couple of days? And you're like, yeah, because we planned those days and I'm going because I've been looking forward to it. But it doesn't mean because you see me walking around London and doing things, it doesn't mean that I'm not sick. Like, it doesn't mean I'm not in pain. It doesn't mean my friends have to look at me and go, are you okay? Do you need to sit down? Do you need to take a break? Do you need help walking? Do you need help getting up? Do you need help getting down the stairs? Do you need to lie down when we get back? Do you need to go for a sleep? Do you need to get medication? Do you need a drink of water? Do you feel like you're going to be sick? It's constant, 24/7. It's, some people describe it as your full-time job is looking after yourself full-time, because all the things that you used to be able to do easily, like get up out of bed, get in the shower, clean, walk, bathe, eat food, go food shopping, every little thing you used to be able to do, no bother, just like, as you're, like 5 years ago, see getting out of this chair, I could just go whoof and launch myself out of it. Now I'm like I can't even, I'm like that. My boyfriend has to help me up sometimes. Out of chairs, I just go, I need to help. And everyone thinks it's not real because you can't see it. That's why it's called an invisible illness. But I'm telling you, if it could show up as bruises right now, I would be black and blue. And you would be sitting here going, what the fuck is wrong with her? Because my face, because even right now, my forehead is hurting, my nose is hurting, my chin, my arms are killing me, my back is killing me, my legs are killing me. I've had a bad pain in my left leg for the last 2 weeks, and I know it probably is weather inducing because, funnily enough, weather makes it worse. Damp, cold, snow, which we have had practically all of the last month, or nearly 2 months, has made it so much worse, to the point that I literally am going to scream my head off. And yes, I've been taking painkillers, not touching it. And everyone thinks you're faking it. Because everyone only sees me on a good day. God forbid. Like, it's like, if you saw me on a bad day, if you came out to my house to see me on a bad day, you would be like, okay, and you would leave. Like, no, I never let my boyfriend see me on a bad day, because I was just like, I will kill your mood. I am not in the mood to see anyone or speak. I just want to lie here. And I know people say, well, even on your bad days, you need to get up and move. But it's like, when you feel like you've been hit by a truck, you try moving. You try just getting out of bed and lifting your leg. It's deteriorating. It's debilitating. Sometimes humiliating. We're going to keep rhyming here because with IBS, I've had to call out of rehearsals for a show I was doing one day because I couldn't get off the toilet. I had to message my director and say, I'm very sorry, I'm not going to be able to make it to rehearsal tonight. I've not been able to leave the vicinity of my toilet. It's embarrassing. It's honestly embarrassing, the fact that standing hurts. Like, your basic mobilities, standing, walking, hurt like a mother trucker. And yes, I had got a walking stick to help with that on really bad days. Do I use it? Sometimes. Why do I not use it all the time? Because I'm in fear of looking like I'm faking it and people are judging me, and I get self-conscious about it, and I just think, no, you don't need it. But sometimes I wish I did take it. But then my brain goes, yeah, but then everyone here will be judging you because you look too young to be using a walking aid, and they don't know what's going on with you, but I can't help it because that's the way my brain works. How have I turned this into a long ass video? But I think I'm just doing this because you guys all know me and I want to be more generally open and honest with everyone on here. And I have been open about this before. You guys always hear me say, sorry, I've been sick, sorry, I've been sick, sorry, I've been sick. Now, I know I've turned this into one long ass video. But I think it's just because I'm wanting to get more open and honest with you guys and break the stigma around chronic illness and invisible illnesses, because they are real. A lot of people who I've met via Instagram from me sharing my stories have said they feel scared to share their story because they don't think anyone will believe them. But they saw my story and felt safe to share with me their story. And I'm always open to anyone on my Instagram who has a chronic illness who just wants to vent, because sometimes we all just need to vent. I spent a good whole day venting with one of my friends, Nikita, and we just were going back and forth between how we've felt for the last few years, on how our illness has changed us and how we feel medically we're just being left to fend for ourselves without even a guide sheet. We're being hopeful about the future and hopefully things will get better. Obviously, like, we're not all doom and gloom. We take the good days as they come. But like I was saying, a lot of people are scared of the judgment because they don't look old enough to have an illness. And obviously because it's invisible and people can't see it, it means it's not real, you're faking it, you're lazy. When it's not. If you could feel, like, I always say it should show up as bruises, but Nikita put it in a good way. Like, if I could shake your hand and for about a minute you could feel what I'm feeling, you would be like, oh, oh, oh. And you'd be like, what was that? You'd be like, that's what I feel on a day-to-day basis. How would you like to walk in my shoes for an entire day? And you'd go, no. You would go, no. And yeah, this is also a message for anyone who's also going through this, to advocate for yourself, because obviously if you're lucky to have a great support system, they will advocate as well for you. But if you're on your own, you have to advocate for yourself because no one else will. Like, somehow I spoke me getting on this list into existence. That's what one of my friends said. I said it's been so weird because all I've been talking about all last week was how I've been on this waiting list and I've not heard anything. And she went, you manifested it. Like, you've spoken enough about it, that's gone boom. And now I'm thinking, maybe someone's heard me and my 2026 is not going to be crap. Like, come on, be nice. Like, this is all, sometimes you just think, like, be nice for once. Be nice to me. Like, what have I done? Yeah, we need to advocate for ourselves because no one else will. And no one has the right to judge you. No one knows you. If they judge you based off the fact that they can't see your illness and they don't get to know you and they don't have the openness and willingness to listen, that's on them. That's not on you. That does not make you a bad person. You have the right to feel the way you feel, and you have the right to speak up and use your voice to help you, because if you don't help you, who else will? It's one of those things where I know it's tiring, believe me, I've gone through so much crap with the doctors that I just was on the brink of I give up. Like, I absolutely give up because no one's wanting to help me. I'm trying to help myself. Nothing seems to be working. I'm doing everything I should be doing. I've literally done things like I've cut back on sugar and crap. I've stopped really drinking fizzy juice. I've changed my diet. I've always been a pescatarian. I've been pescatarian for 20 years. I eat severely healthy and everyone's saying, it's your diet. And I'm like, I eat a fairly healthy diet, thank you. It's not about trying to get more exercise in. I know they say it's good for you to walk and get out and about. It's like, yes, it is. And believe me, I do that. I have a dog. I go to the post office for my Etsy and all that back and forth. I even got myself a walking pad for days where it's not nice enough to go outside, just to walk nicely and gently on, to move my legs and everything. I've not been able to use it the past week and a half because I've been feeling so ill. And I'm still in pain. And it's all about learning to manage it. But unless you're given the tools to learn how to manage it, what are we supposed to do? So, advocacy for yourself is important. And if they're not listening to you, then find someone who will. Like, if I've been saying this as well, the fact that I don't get listened to, and I will be getting a second opinion on things in the near future because I don't feel like I have advocated for myself enough, and I do feel like I deserve a second opinion and I deserve to get the right treatment and the right tests done just to rule things out, because this doesn't happen for no reason. I was sick one day at work and then next thing I know I'm permanently sick. Like, I was permanently ill. I don't remember what it's like to feel healthy and feel well, and that sucks. That sucks that I have like forgotten what it feels like to not be in pain and to not feel ill. Why? Can I do a video without crying? No. Well, no, I did my last video without crying. I did my last video without crying. So I'm going to end this here before I get too emotional. Because we all know what I'm like. If you see my reaction videos where I cry, you know what the hell I get like when I get emotional. It's ugly. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you guys so much for listening. And I hope you guys take the message that be kind. You never know what someone's going through. And we have no right to judge anyone based on circumstances. Everyone, this could happen to anyone at any moment. At any moment your life could change, be it for the better or be it for the worst. These things go hand in hand. But to let you guys know that if you are like me and you have a chronic illness, you are heard and you are seen by me, and I'm always here to talk. If you want in the comment section, or if you find my Instagram, which is just j_McGregor_, I'm happy to take a DM. I'm happy to listen to you rant. You could be a sounding board. Like, you're not alone. Love you all, and I will see you all next time.